I'm Brian Martel. I'm the Chief Creative Officer of Gearbox Software, Creative Director for Gearbox. When I was a teenager, I went to see Aliens in the theater, and so since then I've been, a fan of this. I think like a lot of people in the industry, where it's influenced pretty much everything I've done through my career when it comes to sci-fi. So in that respect, I think for me it's an honor to be playing in this universe and be able to do it justice and do something really interesting. So I'm really proud to be doing something. But it has meant a lot to me because it's just one of my early influences.
So where the hell are
Well, I think Fox has been really reasonable with us, and they've been really good to work with. They've allowed us to explore things like the Hive and how does the Hive work. They understand that we're making interactive, this is an interactive medium, and so that while being here, you need certain sort of rules that are very different than a non-interactive space. A movie can get away with one or two types of creatures, but we need variety, especially with something that's multi-hour long. You need to have, you're not just talking about 90 minutes, right? So you need to have something that's going to keep people's attention for a long time and be challenging for them. So, and they respect that, and that's one of the areas that they've let us play around in. And then obviously there's story and sort of the style of the Colonial Marines, exploring more of their weapons and their weaponry, that kind of thing. So yeah, we had a lot of the stuff that was in the vault, and they did a really good job of archiving that. So we had some concept art that Sid Mead had done ages ago, but we also hired him to do new stuff. So there were places that we wanted to see that were on the Sulaco or maybe down on Hadley Soap, and we needed him to do a different new take on that. So he was able to do that for us, and so it's been an honor to work with Sid, who's just invented pretty much all of the future that we all know today. Especially in sort of science fiction circles. So I think it's really fantastic to have been able to work with him. No doubt we get stuff from Alien, and there's even bits from Alien 3 that we get, and there's some things that we love about Alien 4 as well. But for us, this was the opportunity to do something we thought was the sequel that everybody always wanted to see. And so it takes place after Alien 3, but it predominantly deals with Colonial Marines, and we go back to the planet. We get to be on ships like the Sulaco, and we get to see some places that are familiar to us, but we get to see them in new ways. Yeah, we've definitely been able to fill out the Hive a lot. We've been able to do things like, if you see the demo, you'll see that there's a crusher in there. And the crusher is one example of something that needed some gameplay where shooting it from the front was going to be harder. So you had to move around the side or use your environment or do something else that would make it easy to kill that guy. So that's one example. You need some things that are going to be, what's the defense for the Queen? What are some of the other alien types like? What's a life cycle like for these guys? And those are things that we've been able to explore with Fox. As far as the weapons go, yeah, the pulse rifle is, at the time it was a sci-fi M16 in many ways. I mean, even its structure feels like that, right? But what we, through time, we've all learned a lot more about, sort of the special ops kind of weapons that exist. And they've got the rails on the top to, add attachments and things like that. We know that the grenade launcher at the bottom, could probably take different rounds, so we've added shotgun rounds to that, and different types of rounds that make sense, especially fighting aliens. And then having scopes and things like that on the top gives us a little bit of sort of a weapon upgrade path, and allows us to have some diversity in gameplay than for just, hey, this is the pulse rifle, this is the way it is. Lets us do more with it. Yeah, you got to have some power loader time. You have to have some APC time. You got to have some dropship time. I mean, these are just core parts of the Alien, franchise, if you will, and really part of the Colonial Marines armory. So we got to be a part of it.
So you'll be able to control the power loader?
Well, we don't want to give everything away, but right. Let's assume that sure would be awesome, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you guys talking about multiplayer?
We're not going into specifics, but if you're, I think you can use a little bit of your imagination and probably start to infer what's going to be happening in our multiplayer game.
Okay, I mean, being a squad,
right.
Is it safe to assume that you're considering co-op?
Oh, we have, without a doubt, co-op is part of the game. It's a drop-in, drop-out co-op. So you can play through the entire campaign together with your friends, or you can play a solo. Either way, it's fine.
How many players does that?
Up to 4.
Up to 4 players.
Yeah.
And they're all unique characters, aren't they?
Yes, exactly. So you can outfit everybody however you want. So if you want somebody to have a smart gunner, you want to have all smart gunners, you can do that. You're probably not going to be that successful. You got to kind of mix it up. You got to have a guy with a motion tracker to help out. And so it's really fun to kind of fill it out. But yeah.
Are you going to see any familiar faces in the game from the movies?
The only one that you'll probably see that's still alive would be Lance Hendrickson playing as a bishop type, android. All the rest of the folks have all been killed, right? So it's really hard to bring those guys back without retconning the whole thing.
Yeah. So Ripley's not in there?
No.
No. Too obvious.
one of the things we have is the AI for the aliens. You know, we wanted to make them smart, like you would expect. We want to be able to move around wherever they need to. So spawning from the floors, from vents, things like that. That's the kind of stuff that you really expect out of out of a game like this. And so whether they're leaping from that or surprising you, popping something up. I mean, you see a little bit of that in the demo, but that's really important to us to be able to have them come from somewhere, and then also to disappear that way. And whether they sometimes are taking somebody with them or whether they're just going away to come out a different hole and kind of So you got to have that kind of stuff.
So yeah, we saw some of those actually, like some of the guys being plugged.
Right, exactly.
Sure. Some are scripted, or
some are scripted, some are dynamic. It just kind of depends on the situation. We don't want everything to be just completely random, but we want it to be, because we have to fill in and make it an exciting experience. So some of that has to be scripted, but
Do you have any tips for kind of fighting aliens? What's the best kind of way to go about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's short control bursts, man. I mean, that's the best thing, right?
Absolutely.
Just tell me where they are and short control bursts, and that's it.
Cool.
Aliens Colonial Marines is going to be out in 2012. It's going to be on the PS3, 360, and PCs.